leave mid lane instead of going to mid lane.
Well, let's see how this second match pans out between Rogue Warriors as well as SNG Gaming. Still on the blue side are going to be Rogue Warriors, SNG Gaming sticking to the red side of the rift. Very similar bands coming out to kick things off. Zoe, Vladimir, and Camille this time round hit the bench for Rogue Warriors. Sejuani as well as Cogmore, first two bans from SNG.
Yeah, very early rotation this time for ban phase of the Camille might indicate an earlier Gangplank to be looked at by Rogue Warriors, so that's something we'll have to see if they direct their attention towards it. Ornn's still up and available. It does seem to be the staple tank, but hasn't had a very successful win rate in the LPL so far. So I'd much prefer if something like the Gangplank was looked at for Rogue Warriors.
Jarvan is the final ban coming out from SNG. That leaves Malzahar up and available again, which was the first pick for Rogue Warriors last time round. Ezreal, however, is their first pick for SMLZ.
Yeah, and on the flip side, you can see the hover from Xiaoao right now of the Rise. I think they have to take it because they have to take it away from Doinby. It is religiously banned against that guy, and also their second pick. That's such a good draft so far. Tahm
Kench left open during the ban phase and is instantly snapped up by SNG Gaming.
As two picks go to start it off, that is pretty incredible from the side of SNG.
I think Flawless's first hover of a movement kind of sums up the situation right now for the draft phase, but Gangplank does get picked up. And so does Braum for Killua in the bottom lane.
Yeah, with that Braum to follow, they've cemented their 2v2 in the bottom lane. So I'm expecting an AD carry to be seen from SNG Gaming here on the opposite side if they want to prioritize not having ADs banned from them. However, there's only the Cogmore banned so far. So we'll have to see if it is the Kalista of the likes that they want, or if they want to wait, prioritize a top lane matchup into the Gangplank before the next ban phase.
Instead, they do go for the Kalista, a very safe bottom lane duo. Both can save each other if they get into a sticky situation. Moving into the second ban rotation between SNG Gaming and Rogue Warriors.
Yep, definitely true. Now, there is a lane mismatch so far as the first three picks go. You don't often get the opportunity to see things like this, but a top laner locked in for Rogue Warriors. Camille already banned. They could get rid of the Gnar and the Rumble if they want, the Gnar and the Vladimir. There's champions that they should be banning away from Xiaoao to allow Mouse to carry.
Well, Malzahar's the first ban that comes out from SNG Gaming. Gnar hits the bench for Rogue Warriors. We saw that hover from Knight earlier on. And Xiaoao had a good performance on the champion in game number 1. Final ban from SNG.
Just another mid laner probably from them. When you're looking at Doinby in his champion pool, you wouldn't want to ban the Lulu nor the Karma. Those are two of the champions that he does play. As instead, they opt away from that path, and not even the Azir is going to be banned away from them. They pick the jungle.
Yep, instead it is going to be Nidalee, a champion that Flawless has played a couple of times so far in the LPL. Zac, the final ban from Rogue Warriors, Tien's champion in game number 1.
Lots of respect to Tien. Getting rid of the Zac now. Nidalee gone, Zac gone, Sejuani as well. Most of the jungle tanks have been removed, and SNG Gaming say, well, looks like we're not playing a tank. Let's prioritize the best carry that we can in that role.
Yep, and Tien says, anything you can do, Flawless, I can do better. Picks up Kha'Zix heading into the jungle.
And Flawless says, except Lee Sin, fish.
He picks it up, heading into the jungle. He had a few top 5 plays on the champion from week 1. Karma is the final pick from Rogue Warriors. That's going to be Doinby's champion in the mid lane, leaving Ornn up and available for Xiaoao to take into the top lane, and he does so into Mouse's Gangplank.
Yeah, chooses to lock in the Ornn regardless. We have seen this matchup too many times at the moment, and what we have mostly seen is the Gangplank winning. Not necessarily winning the lane, but winning the game in the greater good of what is going to happen here. But Ornn starts off well. If you go top lane, if you get your jungler and Rise, in this case, your mid laner to go up there, Gangplank dies. He dies very easily. Now, OMG have done this strategy, and they destroyed Gangplank's life. It was miserable for him, and they were able to pick up a game against the Gangplank with the Ornn in that case. And that's something that you want to see from SNG Gaming, and it's not just that. You've got the early roams that can be made from the middle lane, but you've got a Kalista Tahm Kench. This is the SNG Gaming special. They hit level 6, they go top lane, they kill the top laner, or they kill the top lane turret. They make you choose.
So let's see what happens at level 6 then from this bottom lane duo. On the flip side, SMLZ and Killua picking up the Ezreal and Braum. I mean, SMLZ is a well-known hyper carry player. Ezreal kind of sits in this funny spot in between, Rusty, where he does hit hyper carry status very early into the game and starts to fall off a little bit towards the late game.
He has major spikes with itemization, the Ezreal, and he will do a lot of damage when he hits those spikes. It's usually the parts in between where you feel like he drops off and lacks in damage compared to something like the Kalista, who will always do damage if we're able to just get Ren stacks in an auto attack efficiently the entire time. One item spikes the Trinity Force versus the Blade of the Ruin King. you expect to see the Blade of the Ruin King first, so Kalista, and in this case SNG Gaming's bottom lane, may have the advantage earlier on. And that's where a lot of Ezreals in that matchup just decide to go for the full completed item instead of a Trinity Force.
And I know you were watching Doinby's first match for Rogue Warriors, where he picked up the Karma, then picked up the Lulu afterwards. And you were pretty surprised by this man who was known for these two picks a long time ago and still playing him in Season 8.
I was surprised by the Lulu fish. I was not in any way surprised by a Karma being seen. I actually think the Karma's quite decent at the moment with having the new runes being available. Airy for mid lane. The ultimate hat as well for Karma. Super good, and I expect the sorcery tree to be there for him. But he may well go towards Inspiration again. We'll have to see.
When we head on to Summoner's Rift, we get a little bit of a closer look at not only the Dragon Pit, but also our shopkeeper on the red side of the Rift, as both teams will start to fan out. This is a common trend that we see in the LPL at the moment, just scouting for vision at level 1.
Very awkward spot to be standing in here is the bottom lane duo of SNG. It makes you wonder what they're trying to achieve. I think it's just late wards and not being spotted by any wards themselves. Also, I think the ultimate goal is wanting to find an Ezreal or a Braum warding the enemy blue buff, because then they would have the drop. You can see that vision and now about to spot Rogue Warriors.
It's Doinby, Killua, as well as SMLZ that step up to go for this very cheeky late invade. But it is Kha'Zix starting on the red side of the Rift. So they'll just get a bit of information out of this. Lee Sin's going to move over and look to try and take this away from SNG Gaming.
Yeah, aggressive stuff super early on from the Rogue Warriors roster, utilizing the Lee Sin. Now, Kha'Zix is on the top side of the map to start off his clear at the red buff, and he's got Ornn up there with him. Unsealed Spellbook Ornn didn't go for the smite, however. He's into the Gangplank lane, so wants Ignite for a bit of extra pressure. And that really is one of the tipping points that gives Ornn a slight edge in this lane. Able to push in Gangplank with the threat of a kill and the Dematerializer to remove the cannon. So Mouse may actually fall about 20 odd CS behind just from laning.
Tian moves straight up towards the blue buff of Flawless's jungle. He stops
Flawless knows
and moves. It is warded. It was warded at level 1, so Tian has to make quick work of this blue buff. Smite is available for both. Flawless jumps over the blast cone, looks for it. Will he get the smite? He does, and picks up his own blue buff. Flawless with a good start in the jungle.
Protects the Q, explosive plant over the wall, and is able to out-execute the likes of a Kha'Zix that early on into the game. And good pressure from the bottom lane of Rogue Warriors. Things have started to shift a bit more.
Fury ticks level 2 during that trade and is able to return some damage onto SMLZ as well as Killua.
The real win here, though, is always going to be Flawless. The Lee Sin has the opportunity to get 3 buffs if he would like. He can full clear and get an experience advantage over the Kha'Zix. And Tian, by not having a blue buff, will run himself out of mana by clearing the jungle. So he has to go back to base, and he's very far behind from that.
Level 2 heading back to base against a Lee Sin. Flawless will start to fly through this jungle. Meanwhile, Knight's gone back nice and early to pick up a Tear of the Goddess for himself.
One of the cool things about Ryze in the mid lane when they run teleport is you want about 16 CS. 17, I believe, is the optimal amount, including the cannon, before you recall. That's a Tear and a control ward, and that is the perfect timing.
Doesn't get his control ward, but does get the Tear of the Goddess and will start to stack that one up nicely. Once again, running Unsealed Spellbook, so not only can he change his summoner spells throughout the game, but he also does have a reduced 25% cooldown on all of them.
Certainly does, and I think he'll stick with the teleport for quite some time now. There's a threat of dying in the middle lane, especially when Flawless hits level 6, but we know how well Tian has been playing around counter-ganking, as Flawless was looking bottom. Still looking bottom.
Spotted out by the ward. Fury knows this is happening, but still playing rather aggressively. Tagged up by Braum. Tian waiting in the wings, looking to see if he can go for it. Tian Dao drops down the ward, gets a good jump onto Flawless, but it's a level 3 Kha'Zix against the red buff level 4 Lee Sin. Hovering around the blast cone, Ryze is trying to rotate down. Doinby is here first. Fury and Yoon beat them to the punch. SMLZ gets good damage onto Yoon. Forced to flash over. Flawless finds the Q, takes him with the blast cone. First blood picked up by Flawless, and it's both bottom lanes from SNG falling to Rogue Warriors.
SNG Gaming choose to take the fight. They choose to rotate first, but then they just get collapsed in upon. Over-aggressive from them with experience disadvantages. A level 4 Lee Sin will always beat a level 3 Kha'Zix, no matter how well you play that out. And Flawless knows he turns it around the second Tian gets the jump and just immediately starts to fight him. And that's where the fight breaks out. And yes, they rotate very quickly, Fury and Yoon, to get here. But Doinby was first. Doinby was well first to get down and influence this lane. And then they're just completely pinched in. Flawless hits that clutch Q as well. He does not miss them at all.
Certainly does not. Rogue Warriors with the very early 2 kills. Meanwhile, top side of map, Tian as well. Xiao looking for this kill. Xiao in some trouble. They bring Knight up there. Tian trying to run away. Knight gets the damage down. They dive the gangplank for the kill.
Well, that's mostly depressing for Mouse. That's what I'll take away from that. He's got the teleport and he'll come back to lane. Get the kill. Flawless is looking.
Still wants it. Jumps over the wall with the control ward, waiting for the Q to come back up. Diving away from Rise's damage. Flawless still waiting. Both of these members are low health. He finds Knight. Gets the kill. Tian is just a sacrificial lamb. 2 kills picked up by Flawless.
Tian just decides, you know what, my mid lane is out of position. I'm just going to go to the death chamber with him, and both now go down. Flawless gets his signature Lee Sin, and at 5 minutes into the game, Fish, he is 3-0-1 and running rampant on the Rift.
Somebody stop this man. He's 2 levels over Tian at the moment, looking to try and 3 level him at the moment. Almost level 6 on Lee Sin. He looks unstoppable, and Rogue Warriors just keep making unnecessary mistake after mistake.
Bottom lane.
Yurin's forced to use the W to save Fury. He gets stunned up. Fury in some trouble. Does have flash available. SMLZ goes forward. One more auto, gets the kill. Yurin now trying to get the return kill to SMLZ. Will successfully do so, but it's an 80 carry for a support.
I was starting to get flashbacks to game 1, Fish, but the shoe's on the other foot. However, Yurin is available to make a trade this time around, and Tian is so far behind in the jungle that he's now farming bottom lane with time catch. Flawless is level 6.
This is not good. Flawless level 6. Tian is level 3. Will be able to jump away from the Lee Sin Q.
Oh my god, that is a 3-level disadvantage to Tian. It's level 3 to level 6. That's nothing short of depressing. One more camp will give him 4, and Flawless is recalling to spend all of the gold that he's accrued for himself.
Warriors enchantment complete for Flawless in the jungle. My goodness, this is not going well for SNG Gaming. Already a 2,000 gold lead for Rogue Warriors.
Now those stats do not look pretty if you're the mid laner of Rogue Warriors whatsoever. A man fabled for dealing upwards of 40% of his team's damage in games is at best ranked 10th in the league.
That's for kill participation as well, all the way down to 12th in the league for mid laners for his damage. Flawless still continuing with the counter jungling. Finds Tian's red buff, level 6 to level 4.
Well, the thing is, if Tian finds him, he dies. So he's just going to have to try and trade, and most likely all the trades will be down trades as well. Flawless will always trade up much more positively. The big change from game 1 to this one as well is that Doinb is rotating first, that he has pressure in the middle lane. He is a very strong Ryze player, Doinb, but it also means that he's very good at playing into Ryze by knowing the limits and constraints of the champion. And that shows by his first roam towards the jungle.
Well, we saw a lot of proactiveness from Flawless in the first match, but most of it was centered around the mid lane to try and help Doinb, and they didn't get much but relieved pressure for the mid laner. Now, on the Lee Sin, he has 4 participated kills, 3 kills for himself and a single assist, and really seems to have swung the tide of this game in Rogue Warriors' favor, not only in the lanes, but he's also set Tian so far behind in the jungle.
Yeah, through that play, bottom lane starts to win in the 2v2. SMLZ took out Fury before, and then suddenly mid lane isn't going to be losing. The one saving grace for Sunin is actually that the top lane got a kill for Knight. Knight's running teleport on that Ryze. He's decently fed as well himself, so if anyone's going to put in the extra time, the extra work for the SNG Gaming roster, it is going to be the Ryze in the middle lane. But he hasn't gone towards a conventional Ryze into a magic damage build as well. He's acknowledged that the Lee Sin is fed, but the Gangplank will be a threat as well. He's going Rod of Ages Rush, so he smashed the ability power out first.
Doinb now trying to see if he can make a move down into the bottom lane. Not going to spot that ward being placed down and move straight in towards the Tri-Brush. Flawless is close behind him, jumps over the wall with the safeguard. This gives the Rogue Warriors some time to get damage on the bottom lane outer turret.
Oh, it's the turret, Fish.
And it's going to fall first.
Actually, Ryze has teleported to defend it.
That's far back in the lane though. This turret's going to fall before he can get there to defend. Kahlua even steps up to be a little bit aggressive. Tian is waiting in the wings. No teleport for Xiao Ao. He's still sitting on that Ignite, yet to use the Unsealed Spellbook.
That communication felt all out of sorts. I guess Knight did need just to get back to lane regardless. They want to stop the Drake from going down.
Mouse's teleport is coming back off a cooldown shortly. Xiao Ao's gone back to base. May swap over for teleport, and he does. And he's now used to try and get in
That's too
behind
late.
Rogue Warriors. It's going to be Tien that gets knocked down first. Fury gets delivered in, but look at that instant knockup coming in. Xiao with the knockup of his own. Tien still moving forward. Good Grey Out coming in. Big knockup from Xiao. This could be Sunny's team fight. Xiao with the first kill. Nice, still charging at the front lines. They lock down SMLZ. Double kill picked up by Orn. Doinby trying to run away. Blast Cone brings SNG Game in closer. And just like that, they try to turn around the game with only Flawless picking up a kill on the back end of the team fight.
And would you believe that was over a Cloud Drake? Flawless is looking for more. There is a chance that he picks up kills here. The Q's on.
Oh, he gets Tien, but Stopwatch is just a fantastic item, Rusty. Turns the bug golden. Tien lives to tell the tale, and Suning find a team fight.
The golden bug just quietly giggles as Flawless is going to get rid of his bonus as well and gives the gold over to SNG Gaming. It's now 6-6 in kills. It's still a 2,000 odd gold lead to Rogue Warriors, but it doesn't feel that way after that fight. And you're just left wondering, why did they take the fight over a Cloud Drake? Why did they commit so hard to the Cloud Drake knowing that SNG Gaming were looking? They kick it off by finding Tien. Knight sitting there hitting them as well, but Xiao hits massive Horn ultimate. Horn ultimate works as well, I guess it does both. And then follows it with the Flash E. And that's the biggest difference here. There's no gangplank to be seen. Xiao's here, he's ready to go. And this whole time, the teleport for Mouse was about 10 seconds off cooldown. All of these kills come about, and he's left just saying, one more second. And it was too late.
How does Flawless do that? That's the second blind Q
He's a
been
wizard,
able to
dude.
hit.
Flawless is a wizard.
He had no vision of you
I've
there.
decided that it's just common that Flawless will do these things because he's just out of control. He's the mask. Someone stop him.
Someone actually does have to stop him. Thankfully, Suning were able to get the return kill thanks to Stopwatch picked up by Tien from his masteries. Still, Rogue Warriors are in control of this game, but you have to think that play from Suning is not only one that sends a message to Rogue Warriors, but also stopped the bleeding quite a bit in this match.
The message is, I'm coming for you. Orn is fed. He's 2-0 in 3. So Gangplank, who's starting to scale up in that lane, well, he's going to have to wait a couple of extra minutes. Trinity Force still isn't there yet. And Rogue Warriors, they do still have control of the map, and they're pushing mid.
You can see they're trying to get as much poke down onto this mid lane. Knight and Yoon trying to dodge things out. Flawless being a bit cheeky, pretending to take the Q and backing out onto SMLZ. This whole time, they have Fury farming in the bottom lane.
He's
Tien
looking top lane.
trying to get a gank on the top side of the map. No wards placed down here. He has not been spotted, and Mouse is slightly extended, but decides not to follow through.
Yeah, it looked purely like a vision mission just there from Tien. He didn't even put his eye in towards a gank at all. Knows that there was no control ward in the bush. And I feel like that's just a setup for a minute from now when a Ryze wants to ult down there as Killua looking bottom.
Fury trying to get out of here. No flash available. That's the
Oh my
gameplay
God.
ultimate, trying to slow down Kalista. Lots of force coming out from Rogue Warriors. And immediately Yoon uses his ultimate just to make sure that Fury stays safe.
Clean from Fury, however, to not just throw out the Q, but to rend immediately afterwards for the slow. Prevent Braum from catching up, and the Gangplank slow was then equalized by what Kalista put down himself. So Fury lives. Yes, the Tahm Kench ultimate was used as Tian's just being a pest. He's not actually going in.
They do lose blue buff, but small trade going in favor of Rogue Warriors there. SMLZ still being a little bit aggressive. That's an arcane shift forward just to get some poke onto Yoon.
Yeah, that's not just a little bit fish. That is a very aggressive Ezreal. SMLZ is feeling himself. It's always scary when SMLZ is feeling himself. He's the pentakill hunter.
Suning again, making another rotation towards the top side of the map. Ryze as well as Kha'Zix both on their way up. Immediately you can see Mouse backing away. Not too much vision to stop out this. Let's just kind of search this one out, I should say. But Knight going to be kicked back into Doinby, instantly locked down. But Tien is there. Good damage to Flawless. Now it's an even fight. Level 8 against level 8. There's the Zhonya's onto the Lee Sin. The horns come out. Does Xiao predict it? He does. Knocks up Flawless. Mouse jumps in. Gets the parlay onto the Kha'Zix. Will take him down. Knight still trying to fight this one out. Dodges out away from the barrels. Fury throws in a wild Tahm Kench. The Toad goes in for the Licky Tongue. Gets another kill. Fury gets one. Mouse goes golden, but it's just not enough. Too many spears, and Suning win another skirmish. Oh, Knight with a good flash gets away from the ultimate from Ezreal.
You can see the clock ticking in Knight's brain. Which direction do I flash? He just picked it and he lives in the end. SMLZ and Killua are nowhere to be seen. Fury and Yoon made the difference in that fight, but now they want the 2v2 mid.
Fury will get eaten up by Yoon, gets him back to safety. Ultimate being used by Braum there. SMLZ again being so aggressive. They want this. Yoon forced to pop the shields. Fury, you need to help out your Toad. Jumps back in. Kahlua in trouble. That's a lot of spears. Takes another turret shot. There goes Licky Tongue once more. SMLZ flashing in with the arcane shift. But again, it's Suning with a 2-on-2.
SMLZ is nothing if not aggressive, but a double buff Kalista was just waiting around the corner, and still they choose to dive. We get to watch the fight again first. Good kick from Flawless, no chance with a Rune Prison to lock him down, and at first you're like, this is not a bad choice, but Flawless was getting 1v1'd by Tien. Rise has the ultimate zone, is Flawless does not have that available, so he is stuck in the pit. Now Mouse comes in, Mouse contributes, but because of how fed Xiaoao was from the previous fight, and how well Knight plays around the kegs, they're going to survive for quite some time, and that's enough time for the bottom lane of SNG Gaming to get here, give over both a red and a blue buff towards the Kalista. That eventuates in another fight as Knight gets the call, knows exactly what's happening to him, and flashes out alive.
And I know you're a man that loves microplays, Rusty. Not only dodging out from the Ezreal ultimate, but also backstepping away from the Gangplank's barrels to keep Knight alive. Very good play from the mid lane of Suning.
Shows mastery of not only his own champion, but his opponents.
Now Rogue Warriors looking to continue pushing for this mid lane out of turret. Only 700 gold separates these two teams. They're being very careful with trying to approach this turret.
We've seen much better things from Rogue Warriors in this game, yet we've also seen very good responses from the SNG Gaming roster, knowing when and where to fight, utilizing teleports to be in the area as well. To claw themselves back to 700 gold, as you mentioned, is impressive, given how fed Flawless was. There was a 3-level advantage for the Lee Sin in the jungle, yet the gold is close.
And it almost feels like the onus of these games for Rogue Warriors is on Flawless. All the times that we've seen him make those miracle Lee Sin plays, down to this match indeed, where he was able to pick up the early game advantages, picked up a nice kick onto Knight in that last team fight, but just no follow-up coming from the rest of the map of the Rogue Warriors.
Certainly not. Now, the fights have all started to calm down a little bit more, and we get a chance to look at what's going to be next for them both. There's no Drake to be seen. However, the next one is going to be an Infernal. We look towards the Rift Herald on the top side of the map and say, well, that is a definite possibility for either of these teams. You'd feel like it's going to be in the direction of Rogue Warriors that they want to go there. But with the teleport coming up first from Xiaoao compared to that of Mouse, well, there's a chance that they actually prioritize swapping lanes going towards the other side of the map. And that's why Rogue Warriors haven't. They'd have to physically walk there to be there first. And only now they're starting to make the plays instead.
Again, Flawless being a little bit aggressive here, trying to get the Q onto Knight. Tien once more waiting in the wings. We've already seen now that he's equalized in levels against Flawless. Has similar items. Still Flawless ahead with that Knight's Vow picked up. But was able to go one-on-one against the Lee Sin after the kick onto Knight.
Only because Lee Sin's direction was somewhere else. He was trying to take out Knight, and as a Rod of Ages Rise is a difficult man to kill when he's got the shield coming up constantly from good use of the passive.
Archangel's Staff was picked up as well, so that'll be turning into a Ceres Embrace shortly, giving Rise that nice big chunk of a shield.
You know, of course, when a Kha'Zix and a Lee Sin meet each other in a 1v1 fish, you know who wins?
Who does?
Whoever hits the Q first.
Oh.
You know, usually Lee Sin versus Lee Sin's who hits it last. Yoon, out of position.
Takes a bit of damage, but Tahm not too worried about that.
The reason that it's who hits it first is because they'll probably just kill the other person in one combo. Whereas Lee Sin versus Lee Sin is who hits it last because they have the execute on the Q.
SMLZ again continues to be very aggressive. That's an arcane shift forward. Flawless now jumping in aggressive as well. Knight gets so much damage. Yoon, what are you doing there? No, that's not great, but they still go for the team fight. Fury pumps his own stopwatch to try and stay alive. Mouse jumps in to try and save it. Xiaoao with some great damage. Teleport does finally come in from the gangplank. Kha'Zix is going to fall. Knight takes the blast cone over the wall to try and get back to safety, but Doinby is on the hunt. There goes the ultimate from Rise. Will he get out? He does the do-si-do. They ping the wrong direction. He's going straight towards the base of Rogue Warriors, but it is Rogue Warriors that go to push for more turrets.
Yeah, Rise has to lick his wounds and go back to base, but that gives so much time for Rogue Warriors to push towards the middle lane. They get a structure, and finally, we get to see a full fight from them where they want it, they continue to get it, and then they actually win the 5v5 straight out. Yes, some questionable decisions there from the side of SNG Gaming. The one problem that you will see after this is Yoon throws himself in willingly to try and assist the team because they see Flawless as a low health member, thinking they can turn this around, but then he's just out of position. Also, Flawless, I'm pretty sure he tries to kick on as he flashes and Ws. It doesn't do anything. so that's also unfortunate for him. Very well done from Fury, however, to zone is at the perfect time to prevent the kick from killing him.
The end of that replay was Knight doing the do-si-do, getting out of a sticky situation against Doinby. And that's given Rogue Warriors a sizable gold advantage, just over 3,000 gold in Rogue Warriors' favor.
Yeah, we're pretty much back to complete map control, meant to be belonging to them as Flawless hits the Q and wants a fight.
Well, 10 finds him, jumps over the wall, goes for the one-on-one. Yoon as well as Fury are waiting in the wings, looking to try and get some damage in that top lane out of turret. 10 sticking around, going for the fight. He gets kicked into a Tom Kench. Yoon says, I'll take that. I'm going to save my bug. But the rest of the Rogue Warriors are going to continue with the push. Tom Kench landing the Winter's Bite, but no follow-up coming out from Rogue Warriors.
Flawless kicks him away, and Yoon has the safest hands in the East as well. Immediately catches him inside his mouth, of all things. A very awkward interaction that we just saw from SNG Gaming's and Rogue Warriors junglers respectively, but aggression from Tian. Knows that he wants to fight Flawless. It's just that the Karma has too many shields, and having the Athene's Unholy Grail for a bit of extra health back, Flawless was fine in the end.
Suning really wanted that top lane out to turret. Every turret counts now that they are down 3, and that should be where the 3,000 gold lead Rogue Warriors have acquired comes from.
Well, yeah, they don't have a single turret themselves in gaming, not even the bottom lane turret when they were doing so well. It's mostly because they've been roaming well, not laning well.
And Rogue Warriors picked up 2 elemental dragons of this game, both of them Cloud Dragons. Next one to spawn in a minute and 30 seconds is an Infernal Dragon. And the first team fight for Rogue Warriors was over a Cloud. Second one, uncontested, picked up by Flawless. The third one will definitely be something that these two teams look towards fighting over.
You would absolutely expect that. An Infernal Drake is something that Rogue Warriors may put a higher priority on, especially given that they are ahead and they've got big item spikes respectively for all of their players now. 2 items on the Ezreal, 2 items on the Gangplank as well, but 3 very cheap and cost-efficient items for the Karma. I feel like Doinby is at a point in the game where he's pretty much at max strength, as mid lane support style Karma would go for builds.
You take a look at the opposite side of the map though. Rod of Age is fully stacked with Ninja Tabbies, as well as a Seraph's Embrace, ready to go for Knight. He is a fairly tanky rise now, sitting on the components of his next item, but Doinby looking to be ganked here in the mid lane. On directs the ultimate perfectly, and it's a left-right good Knight here. Suning take down Doinby.
That felt so unconventional from SNG Gaming, but Doinby has no counterplay, just dies. And that coincides with 20 seconds until the Drake spawns. That was honestly just clean, and that was so pretty.
Taking down the mid laner right as Dragon's going to spawn. Suning make their way over towards the pit, actually hiding in a bush here. Rogue Warriors, they're going here, going to look for the fight, sending into Tom Kench first. Knight as well as Xiao Ao delivered into the front of this team fight as well. Kahlua will flash away. Fury goes forward, gets the render, slow him down further. Tian has to be careful. He's been tagged by way too many spells coming out from SMLZ. Xiao Ao hit by the Braum passive. That's an arcane shift forward. Yoon will eat him up and get him back to safety. Suning now on the retreat. They looked for the team fight. They didn't get it. Now Infernal Dragon's left to be contested.
The first dive was very pretty. The second one looked cool, but it wasn't exactly the correct idea. I have this feeling that going to the Infernal Drake and forcing Rogue Warriors to come to you would have been a far better option. Now, Rogue Warriors have just started Baron.
Pings coming out from Suning. There is a teleport coming in from Xiao Ao. Rogue Warriors yet to
They should
peel
turn
off.
and kill.
Does he? He does not complete the teleport, and they still stay on the Baron. It's down to half health. Knight looking for this fight. Fury getting as many sticks in as he can. Rogue Warriors split off 2 and 2. They pick up the Baron, but it is Suning that want to go for the fight. Teleport is going to come back in. Xiao Ao swapped over his flash for teleport to try and get it to this fight. Looking for it, but he gets just melted. Dies before Yoon can save him, and immediately Rogue Warriors turn around the team fight. Doinby's gone forward. Blade of Ruin King looking to try and slow down this Tom Kench. Yoon and Fury trying to jump over the wall, but Fury can't quite do it. Into the cannon barrage. Yoon dies. Fury falls shortly after. Knight kicked back into the team. Rogue Warriors find the perfect team fight and the Baron play. Only Knight and Tian left alive. Knight trying to run away, but SMLZ finds
got
him.
out.
Still somehow gets out. However, still inside of Rogue Warriors territory. Tian still trying to run away as well. But what a big play from the Rogue Warriors.
All right, Flawless is about to kill them.
Woo!
There's one. They're looking for the last remaining member.
And it's going to be
Infernal Drake
SMLZ.
free after.
Let's see if they can. Tian still trying to run away. Goes invisible, but SMLZ predicts that Arcane shifts in. And that was beautiful from the Rogue Warriors.
Lots of dancing to try and survive in the end from SNG Gaming, but Rogue Warriors make the correct call. They look towards the Baron. Super smart idea from them. Now Xiao Ao teleports, cancels. Super clever from him to change his other summoner spell with the unsealed spellbook, however, and get a teleport out regardless. But he dies instantly.
He changed 3 summoner spells, Rusty. That is impressive.
He certainly did. Now the Baron was secured. It's a Callista with a blade, sorry, an Ezreal with a lot of damage, not the Callista. I heard Ren stacks, I was disoriented. Shell dies. His build's not very tanky. Like, he's got tanky items, but he's going to go down super quick. And from this point, with the front line gone, Yoon can't sustain himself for that long. Akama is able to chase incredibly well. They just lock down everybody. Not a chance in the world for SNG Game to survive here. All they had to try and do is run. Not even flashing to try and survive. Ults to the other side of the map, and Rogue Warriors hunted them down.
They were just not in a position to fight there, SNG, but they still looked for it anyway. Even when Xiao teleported in, it still looked like it could be even, but while he was tanking up the entire team, nobody from SNG was dishing out any damage as they cut down the tankiest member of their squad. And Rogue Warriors now on the aggressive front. 8,000 gold up against SNG, taking down bottom lane in a turret.
Yeah, they were looking to trim the top wave so they could threaten all 3 lanes at once, rotate between mid and bottom the entire time as top was going to build up a slower push. But Rise had cleared it out, so it's not going to do anything up there. It's just 2 lanes as the focal point for Rogue Warriors. Karma was at blue buff, so he's only just coming now, and that means they're looking towards bottom. They're going to start being more aggressive shortly.
Rusty, last game it was SNG that had the poke with the Corki, with the Ezreal. Now it's Rogue Warriors with the Karma as well as the Ezreal themselves. Doinby heads back, picks up the minion wave with Baron buff. Just making sure they get there that little bit faster. On ultimate is going to be coming in though.
It was blocked.
Instantly blocked by Kahlua. It's an interaction we commonly see. Xiao Ao jumps in and jumps back out. Good poke coming out from Karma. Yoon down to half health, looking for that grey health. There's the game with ultimate. Oh my goodness, Flawless! Where the heck did you come from? Right out of nowhere, gets the kick. Knight mistimed as Zhonya's Hourglass does not take his ultimate back in towards his base. He's probably going to fall for this one. SMLZ trying to hunt him down and is going to continue the chase. Meanwhile, the rest of Rogue Warriors will take down the inhibitor in the bottom lane with that single pick on the mid lane, and they're going to push for more.
It looked very confusing from Knight there, not actually taking his ultimate out to safety, but at the end of it, they get the kills, Rogue Warriors. They look forwards, they continue to siege. And whilst they don't have the Baron buff with Rise dead, they can certainly try.
Going to be pushing straight in. Rogue Warriors get damage on this mid lane inhibitor turret. 20 seconds until Knight's back up. Major ultimates down for SNG. And they're going to continue pushing through here. They might reset, look to go for that one final push, and they choose to do just that.
It's going to back off this time. Of course, without that Baron buff, ending the game is almost unrealistic, especially with Rise coming up in 4 seconds from now. So all 3 lanes, all 3 inhibitors, play it out as best you can. In fact, I would recall after this turret because they will have a lot of money to spend, you would have to imagine. And that last amount of money is the difference between just being strong and winning.
It's 11,500 gold lead for Rogue Warriors at the moment. SNG are slowly bleeding out. It looked like it was over from the early plays that we saw from Flawless. However, SNG did fight back in this game, but Rogue Warriors just look like the better team in game number 2 thus far.
Yeah, and thank God we see some fight in the Rogue Warriors system. It is a little bit closer to Billy now that we've seen game 2 come about. And it's not just because they didn't really know how to play or they never engaged. It's that this time the whole team was working with their jungler in contrast to BLG. So much better, cleaner team performance. Doinby in particular roaming earlier. He got his Karma, one of the signature champions for him. He was allowed to pick it. And whilst it doesn't look like he's done a crazy amount of work, right? 0-3-11 doesn't stand out as the star. Flawless still will. But Flawless can look like the star because mid lane's going to come and assist.
And something we constantly touch on is who's the carry for Rogue Warriors. Doinby picking up a lot of supportive champions, feels more into a support position as we've mentioned. SMLZ this game though, hyper aggressive on the Ezreal, dishing out a ton of damage, has the most kills on his team as well, stepping into that carry position.
And it's not even that Mouse has been this hyper carry. Yes, he's got Gangplank and he starts to do a lot of work now, particularly in team fights as he scales up to damage dealing, but it's mostly SMLZ on the Ezreal. He's been destroying everybody.
And as Doinby said in the interview earlier, if Mouse is doing well, they probably are going to win. And he's doing fantastic so far in this match. Flawless still jumping around inside of SNG's base, threatening with that kick.
He's got the Q under Fury, but there's no minion wave. And that's when they would usually push forwards and go. They are looking towards at least the turret.
Flawless jumps in once more, threatens, but doesn't go for it. Again, Kahlua blocking out the ultimate coming out from Xiao Ao. Top lane inhibitor turret falls, and Rogue Warriors are now onto that final inhibitor.
still potentially the fights to follow as well. A nice keg from Mouse to chunk out Shawel, who's meant to be the tank of the team. And he is no such thing. These minions, this much pressure, you feel like the game's over unless we get a miracle out of SNG Gaming.
SNG needs to go for that last and final team fight. Flawless again jumping in, threatening. But SNG happy to play that game of chicken for now. First Nexus turret falls. Again, Flawless jumping in this time, getting the flash out of SNG members. AD carry. Fury now trying to do what he can.
Is the one.
Lands the Q onto the Kalista, decides not to go back in. Flawless, he's got a homing beacon on these Qs.
Oh my god, someone make him miss.
Someone stop him. Flawless is unstoppable at the moment, but SNG trying to look for that final stand. Last Nexus turret in trouble. Flawless finally jumps back in, goes for the kick, kicks Fury back to the team, trying to cut this one around. Nexus turret is going to fall. Karma takes the one down. Dormy forces a flash away. Flawless actually going down. SNG putting up a fight. Kalua the one that's in trouble. Fury trying to kite this one forward. Here comes the ultimate from Ord, charges back in, gets the little knocker. Tian trying to go for it, but it's too little, too late. Doinby looking for this one. Fury 1-on-1, SMLZ in trouble, gets the double kill. Fury's gonna do it. He saves the game for now. 3 kills picked up by Kalista.
Fury gets all of the kills, but can he save the Nexus as double super minions continue to crash? He's by himself, and they may kill him if he stands there and continues to try and defend. Rogue Warriors may still have done enough in one of the most depressing scenes you've ever seen on Summoner's Rift. Fury plays out of his mind, but oh boy, look at this.
Double super minions crashing in. Yoon is going to come up. They're surrounding the Nexus, Rusty.
Cue the violins.
I don't know if there's not anything that they can do. They're trying their best. Tian will come back up in 3 seconds. He's trying to kite them around. He's trying to make them de-aggro. Bring them into the fountain. That might save you. Tian's going to jump back out as well.
Actually bring them into the fountain, you muppet. It helps.
But he's not. Yoon's going to try and help out as well. On is going to jet back into this fight. You can see the rest of the Rogue Warriors are now respawning, just waiting as the minions get some work done. Now sitting back up as 5 members strong, will successfully defend the onslaught of double super minions charging in from both lanes.
That is the biggest sigh of relief you'll ever see from Fury, as he just APM'd his heart out against minions, but he held the base. Not that it's going to help them win the game just yet, as it's a simultaneous Infernal Drake and a Baron buff that's now going to help push those minions in, but you know what? Fury did it. He's 9-3. He's a very fed Kalista. And they bought themselves time.
How do you stop this? 10,000 gold lead for Rogue Warriors. Nexus is at half health. Only bottom lane inhibitor is back up.
I think you just fight immediately. Fish, the inhibitors are alive. Your only chance is that you fight before they get towards the Nexus. If Rogue Warriors touch the Nexus, it's likely over.
But Xiao Ao decides not to go further forward. Suning still waiting.
Tahm Kench is probably going to ult into the back, I think.
They have to. They
He's
can't
just
give up this
standing on
inhibitor.
the base. Here he goes.
They're going for that final team fight, and Rogue Warriors trying to back out. They know that they can just buy some time. Fury pulls back the support, looking to throw it back out. Yoon goes back in towards the base. Flawless will kick back Fury, get some good damage onto Kalista. Flawless looking for the 1-on-1. Fury gonna be taken down. Flawless is gonna just end the game for the Rogue Warriors. Already on top of the Nexus, just waiting so that Sunny can pad their KDA a little bit more, and they tie up the series 1-1.
Chooses to get some extra kills first, and Flawless, close to aptly named after the early game of this game number 2 between SNG Gaming and Rogue Warriors. The Lee Sin was huge, but SMLZ hit it home hard afterwards.
And after game 1, Rusty, I thought we were in for a one-sided affair, but game 2, Rogue Warriors not only getting a lead for themselves nice and early, they lost it throughout the mid game, were able to secure it in the late game.
Of course, SMLZ is elated with their victory in game number 2.
As he always is, Rusty, as he always is.
I've never seen the man smile, honestly. Once in an interview. I lied, he smiled once.
But they still have one more game to go, Rusty. It is a best-of-3 series against SNG, who did not look all that bad in game number 2.
Not at all. I mean, SNG Gaming started to come back, and if you base it off the first game, you look towards the second game, you go, all right, here we go. SNG Gaming, they look like the outright better team. They're coming back. They found their team fight footing, but it was completely turned around once again. And when you look at who was the difference maker in this one, I mean, the gold difference even shows it. It was SMLZ. The amount of damage he dealt, the amount of kills he got. Most importantly, they did well in laning phase as a reciprocal fact of the jungle winning in the fight before that. You give SMLZ the ability to carry a game. We've seen him do it for so long now in the LPL. He will.
And again, Flawless. We keep harping on this player over and over again. The jungler for Rogue Warriors. Just can't give him Lee Sin, Rusty. He's a highlight reel.
He's known for Lee Sin.